Hello, hello. How are y'all doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome back to another day of working on Project Vita, or I guess probably the first day of working on Project Vita because we didn't do anything last stream. How are y'all doing? I have made some changes to Project Vita already. I've made a new repository. I've made some edits to the repository, so it's a little bit better for contributions now. It's still not fully there yet, but I'll just slowly edit it over time. But today we're finally going to get started on actually changing some of the code bits that I had laid out yesterday that I did want to change, and we're going to try and get some of that done today. I'm not aiming to get anything in particular done. I'm just going to spend today getting as much as I can get done today, really. Probably over the next 2 to 3 hours or so. So, let me just move things to the side for a second. And I guess I can show you what I've done so far. Thanks for the JISON project, really helped me as a framework for a project that I wanted to do but had no idea how. You're welcome. There's a lot that I want to do or change about the current structure because there's a lot that I'm not particularly happy with, at least in this version, that I do want to change. I'm not to say that it's necessarily wrong or the wrong way of doing things, but I feel like it is overcomplicating things and making maintenance a lot harder to, well, maintain. Limit, how are you feeling today? I'm feeling a lot better. I don't think I'll be feeling lightheaded today, at least that's the hope, but no promises because, well, I'm still not fully recovered yet. Yeah. Who knows, who knows. Either way, I'm just gonna carry on with coding for today. I have already done some coding today. Just not really anything for Project Vita. Let me pull up. Let me change scenes really quickly. Alright, I guess I can show you what I've changed so far. And actually, let me pull up the repository because I'm pretty sure there's a new repository now. When I was trying to move it into a different naming, I accidentally duplicated it and I was like, oh, fuck it. One can stay as Project JEISON so I don't break the links for when I rename it to Project Vita. Because I don't want to have to go through all my old videos and find all that stuff. But if I Project Vita AI and project Vita core. All right, here we go. This is the new project Vita. It's a different repository. As you can see, we fucking lost all our stars, rest in peace. But this is going to be the one that I'm going to allow all of you guys to make contributions to and all of that stuff, right? The old one, I'm just going to leave that one there as is, right? With all of its old changes, just so it's easier for people to reference and find the, not those, but find the old archived versions that were containing the code for those ones, right? I think that's better for demonstration purposes. But as I move forward in the future, it's going to be less about the actual implementation and more about concepts, right? So that's completely fine. But this is the new project now. I have done a bit of renaming around here and there. I'm going to change up the banner at some point. But you'll see that we now have like actual templates for pull requests and issues and stuff like that. The same ones that we have for BTube Studio, the SDK. And I also have made some changes to the installation process. So it is a little bit easier to install if you're on Windows using like NVIDIA or something, right? Basically like the same setup as me. However, I can't really replicate this for AMD, or I'm kind of lazy to do it on Linux as well. Mostly because I would need to actually boot up those systems and actually try and install all the dependencies and make these lock files for them. But it's a lot easier now. All you have to do is just run these two commands, and that's it for installing, really. So yeah, already working towards trying to get this a little bit easier for people to install and start developing or using in general. But we still have a long ways to go for that, right? I've already talked to you guys about what I have in store for the future of this project at the very least. And yeah, it's going to look very different than how it is right now. And it's going to like operate very differently than how it is now. But until we get to that point, I want to polish up the code for this part before we move forward, because the further we push along with all of this like code that I don't really like, the more we have to deal with the tech debt. And I would like to try and fix up the problems that I know we have right now before we push forward with all of the technical debt and make things harder for ourselves in the future, right? And besides, I'm probably not going to get to working with the UI or anything anytime soon, at least not until after I make one for my own personal version of Project Vita. So today, what are we doing? Yesterday I gave us a list of all the things that I had on top of my mind that I did want to change. The thing that we're going to be doing today, though, is making changes to the API, and specifically, well, not really changing the API specification, but changing the technology that we use to serve the API. Right now we're using Flask, right? And I mentioned before that I'm not really a fan of using Flask for REST APIs because, in my opinion, it's better served as a front-end web server. Flask is kind of hard for me to it's kind of hard for me to maintain because of, I guess I can pull it up, right? One, the WebSocket server isn't really that good or that usable in my opinion. Like, it gets the job done during runtime, but whenever I need to test or develop anything, this WebSocket server becomes kind of a pain because any connection to it, any client that's connected to it, makes it so that the application can't shut down for some reason, no matter what I try in terms of trying to capture the signals, trying to maintain the tasks, trying to await the different socket connections, even though this is not how I should be doing it now that I realize it. But Fast API, which is what we're going to be switching to, already has WebSocket servers kind of built into it, and it does it a lot better than Fast API ever does. And I'm using Fast API and Quart, which is what we're actually using here, interchangeably, because Quart is just a flavor of Flask, so to speak. One that actually supports WebSockets as well as asynchronous endpoints, which is the main one, right? Asynchronous endpoints is also another thing that's also supported by Fast API, but it does it a lot better because they use Pydantic to specify their the data structures or the structure of the body that should be given into it. That way, it's a lot better for data validation, which is something that Flask just doesn't have built into it because, again, Flask is mainly supposed to be a front-end web server package. And so, yeah, that's the main reasons why I want to switch over to Fast API, right? I think it'll just make things a lot easier and have a lot less development and maintenance overhead, especially, right? I don't want to have to update this API.yaml every single time. And I don't even know if this API.yaml is completely accurate, even though I did write this by hand. But it should be a lot easier and a lot easier for me to validate whether the API is correct or not just by using Pydantic models and replacing what we currently have with Fast API. And so, I've also made the switch over to using UV instead of Conda for everything, just because, oh my god. Let me show you, I guess I can show you, but I have so many Conda environments, like, it's actually crazy. I have so many Conda environments and I just don't know which one goes to which repository or which package anymore. And so I've just decided to switch over to UV and make the virtual environments locally, right? So we have a virtual environment here and I can just activate that with, what's it? .vm / script / activate. And now we have it active. So the one package that we need to install is Fast API. Fast API. I'm sad today. We lost Jaggies. I'm sure she'll be back. Oh, wait. Fast API is already installed? Okay. Fast API is already installed. What happened to Jaggies? She left the server. She'll be back. She'll be back. I'm sure of it. She won't. Guys, she's not like dead. It's not like there was a massive fallout or anything. I'm pretty sure she's just taking a break. Oh nar. Oh nar. So, we already have Fast API installed. The main problem right now though is transforming this API into a Fast API server that has all of the data models that are accurate. Now, thankfully, we do have this API.yaml that hopefully does specify everything correctly. So I'm just going to ask the AI to reference this API.yaml and rewrite our API server to make use of this. So I'm actually going to create a new branch here. Git status, git pull, and git checkout, refactor, Fast API. Okay. Let's ask the AI to do this. So, what do we have in common? This is what we have in common. Okay. Refactor app server to use fast API using following the REST API spec detailed in api.yaml. If this doesn't do it correctly, then shucks, I guess we'll have to write it on our own. Limit, can you zoom in? Your eyes are broken. My eyes aren't broken. My eyes are fine. What do you mean? I guess the eyebrows are constantly up, right? Constantly visible. I just like rotate it to the side, maybe? I don't know. I'll need to find a new position for where to put my camera. It's a little bit awkward because I don't want to put it like so far off to the side. What do you mean? Oh, my bad, my bad. Here you go. Now you can read. My eyes limit can't read. So I made some modifications to common, which is fine because we do need to make changes here. But I will need to see what changes it does make. Let's review. So inside of common, for creating the response, we used to have this helper function to wrap every single message, like the actual payload, inside of a wrapper object that would specify the status of the response as well as what kind of message it was, right? And this is exactly the same. All it did is just redo the description here. And then what did it do here? Return this tuple. Ah, yes. Okay. Wait. Does it need to do this? Why did it get rid of status and headers here? I guess they're not really necessary. Create response. What did create response? What was that used here? Create response was used for and payload that. I'm not sure. We don't really need that, to be honest. I don't think we need this create response function. It was just something that JSON response. Oh no, this is new. Yeah, we don't really need that. But what did it do here? What changes did it make? So it replaced quartz and we got fast API, WebSocket, all of that stuff. We got JSON response from fast API responses. Yeah, that's fine. We have cores middleware for fast API as well, which is nice because we need cores for everything. And we got rid of create preflight from common. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got rid of create preflight here, which was what we originally used to establish the cores policy. between our server and any front-end application, right? If you're running things completely locally, this wouldn't be a problem. But if you're, say, running things on a separate machine or from a different website or something like that, then you would have to worry about cores. And this is just mainly a thing with web development. If you don't really know it, it's like you'll never need to know it outside of web development stuff. Right, it's just short for cross-origin remote scripting, is it called? I forget. But here we go. We, first of all, create a fast API. This should be... Alright, I still need to rename some of these stuff to Vita. This is the Vita Core REST API. And in fact, I'm not even going to call this the API. I'm going to call this just the API. Yeah, okay. And we're going to version it as 1.0. Sure, we'll version it as 1.0. For cores, we're going to add the middleware, which is going to just allow everything for now because honestly, I do not know how to set up cores, and I do not want to have to spend my time configuring cores, right? If you want to deploy this shit actually into production, then it's up to you to go in and modify this cores. I'm not doing this shit for you. Oh my god, I'm Vita Core's first star. Feels so special. Oh my god, guys. Everybody, let's go. Everybody in the chat right now.
Is now following.
Go star Vita Core so we can get back up to 300, 400 stars. Thank you, Zest, for the follow. Kind of sucks though. We lose all of the forks to watching the stars. Like, so sad. We'll grow it back over time. It's fine. So it sets up cores, then it sets up the Pydantic models here. Is this all the Pydantic models here? If so, then sure, that's fine. Let me just validate each one of these really quickly. First issue? Okay, buddy. What's the issue here? I don't see the fucking issue. Did you put it in the wrong one? Here, I'll link it for you guys here. Because remember, it's not the same repository anymore. Yeah, we have job cancel request, which has the job ID and takes in the optional string for canceling it. This is a UUID, right? Should I import that here? I'll have another section specifically for the API. Should I? Yeah, I'll have another thing specifically for the API here. So for the API, we're going to have the data. And actually, should I call this data or should I call this the API? I'll call it data. Rename to data. And I'll create a thing under here called API.py. And this will contain all of my Pydantic models, but I'll worry about that in just a second. The response request, this just asks for a response generation. Context configuration, right? Context request. Wait, context configuration. This has name translations, which takes an optional dictionary string to string. Yes. This has character names, which is an optional string. History and length, which is an optional int. Instruction prompt file name. This I would want it to be... Actually, no, a string is fine. I don't want it to be a path because that's not how it's being handled. Same with the character prompt and scene prompt. So all of this seems to be fine. I should probably check it against the actual API.yaml. Where is my open API thing? Nice. Oh, no, not this one. Don't save this one. How do I get this one to open just on the side? I'll put it here and I'll close this chat. Make you small. And then we can... Man, that's so annoying. Okay, fine. Fine then. For context configuration, this would be context configuration here, which is a put request, and the request body just takes a description. Context and content. Configure, update, load, gets. No, this doesn't seem correct. Yeah, I typed it wrong. Where did this come from? Context configuration request. Configuration update, post, whoa, wait. That's why. This is description and content, and responses gives us back this. Wait, this is so bad. What the fuck? I thought this... What the fuck? Okay, I thought this... this extension here would actually let me see the API, but apparently not. Apparently not. Oh. Can I open this? No. It's just an outline, bro. This fucking thing stinks. What the hell? Nah, okay. Whatever. I'll figure this out. But this seems to be about right. Context requests. You know what? I'm just gonna skip the Pydantic models. I'll fix them in post. But the fact that they're here is fine. Now, our socket observer, I don't want this to be a singleton because that's actually an anti-pattern inside of Python. So I'll need to get rid of that. I also want to refactor this and probably just replace it with what I have inside of Project Vita right now, or my own personal version of Project Vita. In fact, give me a second. Let me pull up my own personal version of Project Vita to decide. I don't want to leak anything though, so change scenes. I'll be right back. New window. Oh my god, guys. Chill. And I need to pull this up to the side because I do not want to leak anything. Okay. Should be good now. So, inside of my own personal version, I have a better socket server that I'll copy paste here later, but let's just go through the rest of the changes first. Just making sure you aren't falling asleep. I do sound like I'm falling asleep even though I'm not really. That's just how I am whenever I'm sick. This part, again, I'll change that to be whatever's inside of Personal Vita. Generic endpoints. This is apt-get tag operation. I don't, what the fuck are these tags for, by the way? I don't think they really matter for Fast API. Oh, they're probably used for documentation, right? Because this is the Open API specification, and inside of Fast API, they automatically construct Open API documentation based off the pydantic models and the endpoint metadata. So this tag is probably to keep it consistent with the tags that I have inside of here in order to group different API endpoints, which is nice. That's also a nice feature I didn't know they had. But this seems about right. We're creating a response just the same as normal. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm assuming the rest of these are probably going to be very similar, right? Get miscellaneous. Yeah. Job type, request, optional data. Right? Because we can't get it from a context object anymore. Right? Because we used to get request data by taking the request information from Flask. Flask would supply the actual request object for the most recent request. If I come all the way up to the top here, right? It used to supply the request, but now we don't have that, so we need to actually parse it out from the actual endpoint and pass it to this helper function, right? We get the data out from request data, which is just our request pydantic model, and we pass it along to our helper function, and that seems to be fine. This dictionary though, I don't want this to be a dictionary, or do I want it to be a dictionary? Let's not make it a dictionary, because it'll just make passing it between components a lot easier. So for the API part, at least, when it goes into the, I guess, Vita application layer now, it's going to pass the actual pydantic model as opposed to a raw dictionary. But the rest of these should be pretty similar. And then it would get rid of all of the post-flight stuff, right? Wait, what happened to all the post-flight stuff? Oh, yeah, okay. This is all gone. The pre-flight config updates. The pre-flights for all of these are all gone. And all of that's gone. Okay, that's good. Then this part, again, I'll have to refactor this a little bit, but I can keep all the changes here and I'll keep all the changes here. That's okay. So what do we need to change within App Server? Within App Server, let me first and foremost change out the WebSocket server and the WebSocket logic. So let me pull up Personal Vita. Let me access the main server and let me add some extra logic here actually. Before I get to the WebSocket server, I don't remember if I showed this on stream or not, because I did make some changes to the Vita server in my own version. So I'm first of all giving it a lifespan, or defining a custom lifespan for it. This is so I can manage the actual startup and shutdown logic that happens around creating this REST API server, right? So basically, this is everything that happens before the server, and then this is everything that happens after a server. So when we hit Control C and shut down the actual server, there's proper cleanup and shutdown, which is nice, right? And in fact, I might want to change this up as well, because this is probably going to be the entry point to the entire server, right? We currently have main, which starts up the web server, and this web server is imported from .server, but I would rather have this inside of the lifespan and stuff defined inside of main, or in some higher level script, as opposed to being a subcomponent to server here. And I want to have everything run through here. I want basically Fast API to be the root manager of everything now. Kind of the same way that I do for my personal version of Project Vita. So how am I gonna do this? Because we can get the app from here. This will define the entire app. JISON is specified at this higher level here. Let me make a new folder here and call this server. It looks organized, but I'll be honest, this folder structure that I currently have for Project JISON or Project Vita is kind of a clusterfuck, right? I literally have main, and then I just put everything and anything underneath utils, which is not how it should be done, really. It's kind of a bad practice what I did here. Because really utils should just be for like helper functions or actually reusable components, but I've just been putting like massive modules underneath there, right? Instead, I'm gonna move my server logic into its own higher level directory up here, and I'm gonna move all of this stuff up there actually. So all of this is now there, and I have api.py also inside of there. I'm gonna rename this to actually server API, and that'll be good. And so inside of here, this will set up the entire app, and then what I'm going to expose from within here is going to be the app. And so for Python modules, you can specify this all value here. And this will make it so only whatever you specify within this list are the actual things that you export from this package here. And so actually, let me get rid of that. Let me say from app server, we import app, and then I specify all as just being this app. So now whenever I import server, the only thing that we get is app, and I'll actually call this as app server or Vita server. And this is what I'm going to publish. So now from main, if I actually want to make use of the server, I'll have to from server import Vita server. And this is the only thing I can import. It's not like it can import anything else, right? If I try importing lifespan, this is actually wrong. This doesn't exist within the context of server. The only things that I can consume is Vita server, which makes it a lot better for separating out logic and stuff. You may not want this because maybe you don't want this much partitioning or segregation of logic, but I think this is fine for the use case here. And so, lifespan within here, we're gonna have to change this. Connection manager. Connection manager. Dot app. And I guess since we have this new directory now, we might as well make use of the fact that we can just create a bunch of folders or files here. I'm going to create a new... Hold on a second. Do I want to do that? No, I don't. What I was going to say, I was going to move all of the endpoint creation logic into its own folder. But the thing is, I make use of some of the global variables around here, such as like, oh, JEISON, right? I'm going to change this so JEISON is not a singleton either, so I can't do this anymore. But I could have separated this out into its own file, and that would have been possible. However, the fact that I have to go through this specific application layer that I'm specifying globally and managing within this lifecycle here, I don't want to do that actually. And so I'm going to keep all of that specification stuff within here. It's fine. It's whatever. So this lifecycle, this connection manager, I am also going to specify here, right? Yes, I think I will specify it here. Actually, no, I'm going to specify it elsewhere. I'm going to create a new folder, call this WebSocket server.
Hey, Lushu, fuck you.
What the fuck, MacDig? We have WebSocket server here, and again, I'm going to copy the logic from my own personal version
Like, genuinely,
and put
fuck
it into
you.
there. Bro, what did Lux do? Where is WebSocket? Yes, I'm just going to copy paste the contents from there into here. So what's going on here? And from Fast API, we're going to make use of their internal WebSocket objects in order to create this WebSocket server. And so this is my connection
Jade's
manager,
left,
right?
and I don't think I can bring her back this time.
Bruh. What happened, MacDig? Man. Discord drama, man. You guys can sort yourselves out. So what's going on here with the WebSocket server? We have Fast API, and we're importing its internal WebSocket stuff. And using that, we're going to use it to type out a lot of the stuff that we have here. This should be a list. I'm going to import list here from typing import list. And what's going on here is whenever we connect, we just accept, but we save the WebSocket that we're given into a list of active connections. And whenever we disconnect, we remove that active connection from this list. Just like before, we can manage this by having whenever we broadcast anything, we can just iterate over all the active connections and send them out that way. If we get a personal message that we want to send to a specific WebSocket, then we need to be given the WebSocket and we can just pass it down, right? Without having to go into this list. But the extra thing about this is we can check, or no. The only purpose of this is to save and manage the lifetimes of the actual connections and make sure that we can send messages to them whenever we do get a new message. This will act as the broadcasting server, and this is something that we need to give to the JSON application layer in order for it to broadcast information and stuff, right? How the fuck can I do this? Did stream die? I swear to God, a fucking stream died. No way stream died. What I could do, I could have a queue for, I could have a queue for sending and receiving. Oh, I could have a sender's queue, right? I could specify a new queue within here.
Limit stream died for a sec. The ghost of Jason haunted it.
Yeah, fucking JSON wants out so badly. I can make a queue here, which will just store all of the messages that I want to broadcast out. And then I can asynchronously consume them within broadcast over here. And so what I can do, because I don't want the pipeline for processing to be held up by this asynchronous broadcast, right? And so what I can do is self dots. First of all, we can have a shutdown signal, which is an async IO future that we make use of in app server, right? Did I not specify it? No, inside a WebSocket server. No, app server. I'll get to it in a moment. Let's just import async IO right now because I'm going to use this future as a flag for when to shut down, right? And in fact, do I make this an event? Yeah, I'll make this an event. And I'll make another thing, self dot broadcast queue. And this is an async IO queue with a broadcasting task. Now this broadcasting task is broadcast task while true or while not shutdown signal is set. We are going to get the next message and then we send out that message over the connection. That is fine. Limit, why did you pass your sickness onto me? Fuck you. Bro, why are we all cussing each other? Let's just be nice for once, yeah. You all caught the German germs after last stream. I don't know what to tell you. Spreading my virus over the interwebs. The limit virus. Why y'all hating on me? Why? Broadcast loop. Wait, broadcast loop? Where the fuck did this come from? Oh, it created it. No, we don't want this. Self dots broadcast task. Yes, that's fine. And actually, we don't want to do this because this is not in its asynchronous function. So I'm going to create a new function called this start. Yes, there we go. This should be fine now. And this is an optional async IO task. This is an async IO queue. Now when we close, I want to shut down this task. I'm going to set the signal here. We're going to set active to false. Or actually, no. This was the original shutdown signal, I remember now. So we get rid of that. We shut down all the connections. And we cancel the broadcast task. And we also need to clear out everything within the queue, right? Everything within the queue. Four. I guess messages aren't going to be asynchronous tasks or awaitables. They're just going to be messages. You cured yourself. I don't think that's how it works, buddy. Broadcast task. Does this all work out? Is there anything else I need to add here? I think this is fine for now. Oh, I will need to change this to do specify proper message type. Right, because I need this to have the actual message type of whatever, again, message that we're passing from our Pydantic models here. But that's more for linting more than anything. Now, if we come back into the web server, let's import that from .websocket server, import connection manager, and now we can create this connection manager and we can start it up. This is asynchronous, or should be. Even though we don't actually need this to be asynchronous. I want to make sure that we do it from within an asynchronous function because that makes sure that we're actually inside of an async event loop. Now for Vita core, I'll need to refactor JSON at some point. In fact, I'll probably just do that now. No, I don't know what goes into that right now. For now, I'm just going to call this as Vita core. And then we start that. Await start. We run it. We close our WebSocket manager and we close the Vita core. The one thing I need to pass to Vita start, or not this, is I need to pass, I don't want to pass the actual connection manager itself, but I want to pass the broadcast queue. And we'll call this as the broadcast queue equaling to this. This way, we're just doing some dependency injection here, passing the actual queue as opposed to the full WebSocket manager, because this is all it needs to worry about within Vita core. Can we give Vita a wife? Y'all can have whatever headcanons you want. Alright, within here with this life cycle, server. This async context manager comes from context lib. Here we go. From context lib, I can import async context manager. Yes, and then this gets used by Fast API when specifying our application here, like so. And so we are now passing this lifespan function to our application here, and it'll make use of it to set up everything here before passing it on to here. Now, these two need to be specified globally. Yes, they need to be specified globally. Then we create them here and we manage them within here. Is there anything else we need to do? Maybe I might want to set up logging here, but actually no, I don't want to set up logging here. That should be the job of main. This seems correct. Origins. This seems correct. WebSocket connection. Let me move all of these Pydantic models out. Into here. And let AI do the importing for me. There we go. That should be all good. And I can come over back to here and import them over. So from data.server API, import everything. And that should fix up all of this. Now, wherever we have JAISON, wherever we have this, I want to replace it with Vita. And wherever we have Vita, I need to specify global Vita. Or actually, do I need to? I don't think it'll be a problem because it might just pull it directly. Hopefully it does that. Otherwise, I'll need to go through everything and specify that it needs to be a global Vita. Actually, fuck it. I'll just specify it. 3 here. This is no longer needed. And I can replace this with the one that I have inside of personal version. This works a lot better. And instead of awaiting like this, I should do await WebSocket manager dot shutdown signal. Right? This makes it so it indefinitely waits without having to like cycle back constantly after 10 seconds or so. Fuck, I realized I forgot to start the timer. Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll just fix it up in post anyways, or however long the stream goes for. Oh, that's loud. What else can I do? I think for WebSocket, that's fine. That's all we need to do. Connect the WebSockets. Await that. If it disconnects, then we just disconnect. Otherwise, if there's an unexpected error, we throw the unexpected error and then we disconnect the actual WebSocket at the end. And is that all? That should be all. For the endpoints here, these these should be fine. Right? These don't have to follow the same ones that we have inside of my personal version. Let me just check though. This should be fine. Once again, I still need to validate if the actual Pydantic models are correct, but we'll get to that in a moment. But this create response, I want to create some stuff here. This should be... I'm just thinking how I want to do this. Do I want to wrap it with actual information, or do I just want to pass the body back? Because this is not needed. This is not needed. The only thing that I actually need is to pass back the actual response payload or a payload that specifies the error, right? That's the only things that I need to pass back. So honestly, I'm gonna say this is not needed. We don't need this create response function anymore. Right? Because I'm pretty sure this was just a relic from us having, why is my brain farting so much today? From Flask. Yes, because I'm pretty sure we needed to pass back a tuple or some shit. Or maybe not even. I don't even think we needed to pass back a tuple. I just did this for some reason. God knows why. But we don't need that anymore. That does break the API, but we're updating everything else anyways, so that should be fine. And so we can get rid of create response. And all of these no longer matter to us. I don't want to bloat up the app server with too much transformation or data transformation logic. So I'm just gonna let the Vita application layer handle the creation of models and everything, and have that be just returned directly here. Right? Vita get loaded operations, all of that kind of stuff, right? So that's just generic endpoints for this one. We have a helper function here. This helper function, if I look back to Vita core, or I guess JES and core, you'll see that how we handle job creation is we have this enum specified. And within the enum, whenever we get a job creation request, it goes through this generic pipeline for everything in order to append the correct job to the actual request. Now, this is kind of brute forcey, I'm not gonna lie. We don't actually need it to be like this. This is very brute forcey, actually. Bro, this could have been changed with one dictionary and 0 if statements. What the fuck did I do here? What was I on? Match? Also, yes, I will change it to match because I thought match wasn't introduced in 3.10, but I just read it wrong, okay? My bad. But we don't even need match here. We don't even need if blocks here. Like, this is just so unnecessary. Configure context. Actually, some of these are special, let's just say. Actually, no, they're not. I did not need to do any of this. But yeah, we can still get away with using the same singular entry points for creating jobs, and that should be fine, right? But just like these other endpoints, we don't necessarily need to worry about the construction transformation of data within here. I don't want to put that data here. I'm just going to put them within JEISON. And actually this endpoint is for deleting jobs, so that was a nit point anyways. But for that, we need to send in the, let's just pass the entire request data, honestly. Or no. No. How the fuck do I want to do this? You have your interface. You have the validation, which is going to be my Pydantic models. And then, should I just discard the models and just pass the stuff directly? That's honestly what I should do. Instead of passing the request model, I'm just gonna pass the keyword arguments for it. That is honestly what I should do. Right? Decouple the request interface from what we have in JEISON core. That makes more sense. So we take the job ID, we take the reason, we pass it to here, and then this is what we return. Okay, you don't need to copy paste the fucking operations manager, okay? That one is obviously gonna be bloated as hell with how many fucking integrations we have. So what is JSON response in Fast API? What does this do? Fast API, JSON response. What is this object? You can return a Fast API path. JSON response is a subclass of response. Oh, there's a response object in here? JSON response. Content is that. Using JSON encoder. JSON compatible item data. No, that's not needed. Honestly, this is not needed. So this would be useful. I mean, I could just use this JSON response thing for passing back errors and stuff. Yes. Yes. Okay. That would make more sense, to be honest. But I don't need this part. I'm just trying to see what I should be passing back for content. I guess I'll have my own error object here. Let's just make one up here. And let's just have the reason be this. Does it have to be this? Look at line 27. Oh. I forgot, okay, I forgot. I refactored some parts when I when I downgraded to 3.10. I didn't downgrade everything, it seems. I'm just an idiot, okay? I'm just an idiot. I need to make some changes here. I want to use keyword arguments because I prefer using keyword arguments for stuff like this. Or deconstructing request information. In fact, I'll do like job ID is equal to this and reasons equal to this. That's fine. I'm not a fan of this, to be honest. How do I specify errors in my own personal version? Do I even do that? Hold on a second. I don't even specify that. I specify the reasons. I specify in the linter what it would return. Like, is there anything that I would leak by showing this? No, I don't think so. Okay. I basically just specified like the type that it returns this way inside of the OpenAI generated docs or the OpenAPI generated docs. We actually see the response model that is given back. But I don't specify any of the errors that are coming back. So I guess for this one, I'll see how I can document that, but we'll just have it here like this. And I'll make a helper function here. Call this helper.py. And we'll create a function to generate the response thing. This will take the error message. So the error model, this will be the error response, and we'll import that. And we'll return a JSON response. And this also needs to have an error code. There we go. Now I can just make use of this inside of app server here. Same with that one. Same with this one. And I don't want to do that. Or let's rename this to create error. Okay. And this logic's gonna be duplicated for pretty much everything, right? I would like to have logging for every single one of these jobs. That way, by default, we log any like unexpected errors that we don't explicitly catch here, right? So I would like to create a new context manager, kind of like what I also have inside of project Vita, my own personal version, where I have this helper function called observe log, and inside of here, I'm able to like record metrics for each one of my API requests, as well as handle specific errors directly, right? Like we can raise these different HTTP exceptions with status codes and all of that, and this gets shown appropriately inside of the API as well. In fact, honestly, I'm just going to use this. I'll use this. Copy you. Yeah, we'll copy you and we'll use you directly inside. Honestly, at this point, I might as well just copy paste all the code I have for my own personal version into here. Thank you, Shamnas, for the
Shamnas
follow.
Creates is now following.
Yeah, let me copy all of this and put you into my helpers here. That's a lot of emotes for a single follow. It is. I just never bothered to like change it or anything. I can do this instead. Okay. Let me get rid of that from my API. I don't need this error response anymore. And I can just directly pass the message to the helper function. And that'll be better. There we go. So this will debug, automatically supply a job ID and everything. This is much better, I would say. Yes, I would say so. Keyword arguments. The job UUID. Keyword arguments. What did I have for arguments and keyword arguments? Oh, wait, what? For arguments and keyword arguments, that's just request. Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay. By the way, where is your boyfriend? My boyfriend is non-existent because I am not gay, guys. I hate to break it to you. Dude, I cooked yesterday for an hour, debugging a bug that could have been fixed if I just read the docs. You mean with your own project? Or, yeah, it'd be like that, honestly, half the time. Not my streamer. Guys, I hate to break it to you, guys. I am straight. Like, I don't know how many times I gotta tell you. So for this, I can probably add it to everything here, right? Should it even be a context manager? Or should it be a decorator? We'll just leave it as a context manager because that's what I have. So from helper, we'll create error response and we'll also take observe log. Or job wrapper. Job wrapper. Yeah, I'll call it job wrapper. So inside of here, I'll just say with job wrapper, as job ID. We'll pass this along. You don't necessarily need to pass the job ID because it's not being used for anything within get loaded operations, although I could pass it along if I wanted to get some more extensive logging, but that won't be necessary here for now. I hate the AI autocomplete sometimes. Anime.js. What is Project Vita, by the way? It is my open source AI VTuber project. I have my own personal version for my own personal AI VTuber who's been dead in a ditch for the past few months. And then this is the open source version that was the original version that was for my project, for my AI VTuber that I've basically recently decided to just open up for complete public contributions. It used to be that like this project was the focal point of my YouTube channel, where as I was developing my own AI VTuber, I would showcase the development and share this repository with everybody so that they could use it as their own reference for making their own AI VTubers, or even use this one to try and make their own AI VTuber, right? But after like a lot of internal debate with myself, I decided to separate the two. Well, this was like months ago. I made this decision to separate out the two because it just makes more sense for what I want to do with my AI VTuber versus what I want this project to become for the community. If you do !GitHub, that's the original repository for Project Vita, or what it was used to be called Project JAISN. So yeah, we don't need to worry about this anymore, and we don't need to create an error response model anymore. This is a lot leaner now. Anything else we need to change? This seems about right. Yeah, that's all fine. And this, I need to say it returns the type of HTTP exception. Okay. This is fine. Job ID. I mean, this is this job ID, but it's handling this job ID for deletion. I might rename this to target ID, but for now I'm just going to leave this as is because today I'm not aiming to refactor the original JSON layer, just the API layer. Now here we are, request job. This is where we're actually concerned with. Everything's gonna be the same, pretty sure, right? We're just gonna specify the job type, and we're going to specify the request data, which is not going to be an optional dictionary like this, but rather some sort of base model. And actually it might be optional, I'm not sure. It kind of depends. Do all of these take in? Yeah, some of these don't take in anything. So this is going to be an optional base model. Actually, should it be? No, I'm going to have this be not an optional base model. even if the request, such as context clear, doesn't have a actual request model, I'm just gonna inherit or have it be a variation of base model and not have anything inside of it, which is fine. We have that in some places for my own personal version anyways. And so for this, we don't care about the request data here. We're gonna get the job ID from the job wrapper, and it's not gonna be created by Vita job ID here. We're gonna specify the job ID here instead. Actually, I don't know if I want to do it like this. Yes, I want to do it like this. Job type and job ID. Job type is equal to job type, and job ID is equal to job ID. Request data, dot model dump exclude none equals true. No, we're gonna exclude unset. Exclude unset. Let me think. No, let's not exclude anything. I'm pretty sure what I want to happen is I set all the defaults within server API. If the user overwrites them through the request, that's fine. That's reflected within the model, but then the default should also be reflected there, right? I don't want to have to manually maintain the defaults within... I don't want to have to manually maintain the defaults within the JSON application layer, as well as within the server API here, right? I just want to dump it once, and it'll take the defaults directly from the API data models, and it'll make use of them here. That is a-okay. This will create the job, and we'll return whatever we get back from there, which should be like a gen job request, which is okay. If an error occurs here, then we don't need to worry about that because that will be captured by our job wrapper. So that's a lot more elegant. Yes, way more elegant actually. And so for every single one of these, we can have just awaits request job and then the job type along with the request data. The request data, we don't need to get this data out from the request data because what it's doing here is just taking the actual dictionary, which is not what we need here. And optional, I'm not going to say it's optional. There we go. This is a much leaner request now, or a much leaner function, which is a lot nicer to look at. All of these should follow along the same method though. This is a response request, this is a context clear request. We're gonna have to make some of these later that don't already exist. Context configure. Contest request add. Yeah. Okay, wherever we have .dict, we're gonna delete this. Because I'm pretty sure these all should be fine. What is this? What's happening here? Ops data. Ops data. No, we don't worry about that. This one needs its own request data. This is going to be operation reload. Yes, we'll need to make that one later as well. I will need to change some of these endpoints because I'm going to be changing how configuration works within Project Vita as well. Because honestly, the way we have it right now is such a clusterfuck that it's really hard to manage and maintain, especially for like the life cycle of configuration when it comes to reloading certain operations and whatnot, right? It gets really complicated trying to make sure that everything is like reloading properly. And I kind of don't want that anymore because I'm finding that vast majority of the time, you're not going to be changing the configuration for specific services and whatnot, right? You're not going to be constantly by hand hot swapping out the model that you're using. If you're going to be doing so, it's probably going to be a one-off thing. And if that's the for like testing and whatnot, and if that's the case, I'm just going to have it so whenever the configuration updates, then it's going to reload the entire application from the start, right? That is how some applications do it. And I think I'm going to take the same approach as well. It's just, there's going to be some, that's going to be mainly for like deployment configurations and stuff. Is not going to apply to, say, tunable configurations. Stuff like, oh, I only want to change the scene prompt and stuff like that. Those things that don't really require things to restart at all, right? The things that would require restarts are things like switching out a model, turning on and off certain components, and stuff like that, basically. What the? Oh, right, because I couldn't figure out what to do for configuration here. I'll just replace this with this for now, and I'll figure that out in the future. All of that looks fine. Okay, all of that's fine. We don't need to worry about this because we already have the life cycle being managed elsewhere. And that should all be fine now, I think. We just need to add some of these into the server here. And we also need to make the actual response models for all of that. Then we can probably proceed to refactoring the JEISON application layer because we need to change it so it actually returns to proper data models, as well as fixing up this clusterfuck that we have here. Like, I have a new system for processing and managing jobs and all that I'm gonna just copy paste over into here as well, because this is just terrible. The way I've implemented the job handling here is kind of bloated. This is not what it needs to be. I can make it like so much more leaner. But yeah, let me make those data models now. We have, where is it? Where is it? App server on the side and server API here. What we need to create is context clear request. And this will have nothing. Same with operation reload request. Operation reload request. I'm going to leave that empty for now because I'm thinking I'm going to refactor that at some point. And the rest of this should be fine. Oh wait, configuration update request. Oh, that's already here. Accept any JSON object. That's not true, but we're gonna pass anyways because we don't know what we're gonna do for that just yet. We might have to dynamically construct this, and in that case, this API is gonna break, but yeah, we'll cross that road another day. That's all of those there. So let's create some responses. This is specifically for requests. Requests, models, and we'll have response models. Specifically for response models, we need one for operations up here. And this will have something that we'll get in a moment. Get current configuration. And we'll also get that in a moment, but we can now add these here. And the system should now know to get these and display them within the Fast API docs that it automatically generates. And also cancel job. Now for this one, the job request, this will have a gen job response. And this is generated from here, and all of these down here will now be generating that as well. Thankfully, we don't have that many endpoints right now, so this is still manageable to do like so. All of these just return back the gen job response, and that's okay. In terms of responses, this should be fine. And then we also need to make a section for WebSocket events. And this part's good. I know from experience that this part's gonna be fucking convoluted with all the inheritance and stuff. But we'll worry about that in a little bit. All we really need from this is a WebSocket event for now, I guess. And that will be passed to our WebSocket server. And this is what we're going to consume within our queue here. And that's also what we send out. So the message that we consume will be of a type of WebSocket event, and we'll dump out that response as a JSON. We're gonna include all the fields. Sure, why not? That's okay. Inside of here, we'll just pass for the time being, but we'll need to make some edits to that. All right, what should we put inside of here? I know for this one, we're gonna have the the job ID, right? This is gonna have to take in the UUID, import UUID. This is gonna be of type UUID.UUID4, not UUID4, UUID, yes. Job cancel response, this will be I don't know. We'll just have it pass back with nothing. That's fine. We don't need any of these to really pass. Well, we don't need this one specifically to pass back anything because it will already succeed if it's 200. That's fine. For this one, get current config response. Again, we don't know what our config looks like. So I'm going to leave that empty for the time being. And for get loaded operations, oh my god, okay, these ones we'll have to dive deeper into the code to fish out the lists and stuff like that. For WebSocket events, I want it to have what's it? I want it to have the job ID. I want it to have the job type. And I want to have the event type. Yes. Job type and event type. Yes. And this is the base. The base event. Everything will extend off of this. Right? Event type. Event. Event's going to be a union of some shit, and this can be whatever. We'll need to add to this list eventually. To do. This is where the management part gets a little fucked. I can show you what I have for personal Vita, but it's not very pretty because there's no way to dynamically create this list. You kind of just have to hard code it all into there. What I have for project Vita inside of data, Vita. This is what it looks like. It's not that pretty, I'll be honest. Like, we have a WebSocket payload that specifies the job type, the event type, and then a boatload of fucking different events that we can specify, right? Then we can build it using this helper function here. We have model to type. So we don't have to code it every single time, and so on and so forth. What I should also do is put the enums for stuff within the server into here as well, right? Like the different job types, the different job types, the different event types, all of that I should probably specify within here. Actually, the job types, the event types, I'm not sure where to put them, honestly. I guess I'll put them inside of a server API anyways, because the JSON application layer is going to have to consume this server API anyways. So yeah, let's just do that. From enum, import enum, and we're going to have our enums up here. Is that correct? I don't know if that's correct. We'll also have class, event type, and example. We're just going to have that there because I don't know what to put in there just yet. Oh, I know. We can have start and end. Start, end, or yeah, success, fail, and cancel. These are the ones that every single one of them will be able to trigger, and then there's going to be specific ones below it. These are different event types and different job types, right? Yes, yes. So this is an event type, and this, or no, this is the event type, and this is a job type. And I also need to specify below all of this that I have this inside of my personal version of Project Vita as well. How it should populate these dictionaries as well. Actually, no, I don't have it in this one. I have it inside of the VTube Studio application. So let me just pull that up really quickly. VTube Studio, VTube Studio. Inside of source data. What? Oh yeah, data. I guess any one of these. Let's say common. Inside of here we have this specification here to use the enum values and populate by name, true. Yes, let's do it like this. Conflict dictionary needs to come from where? Pydantic, I believe. Yeah, that's fine. That is okay. Let's create a start event. And this will not have anything. We'll also do the same thing for end. No, it's not called end, it's called success. If it's a success, we don't need to add anything. If it's a cancel, do I call it cancel or canceled? Success, fail, cancel. I'm just going to call it cancel event. We're going to have a reason for it though. Why does it put ... here, by the way? And we're going to have the same thing for failure. And we can start to add those into our union here. There's no better way to do it besides this way, unfortunately. I mean, like, surely there's a better way to do this. But I haven't been able to find it. We'll also need... I'm going to do the same approach that I have inside of Personal Vita and have a dictionary that maps the different events to the enum. And then I'll have a helper function to construct everything, just so it's a little bit easier. So model So model to event map. Yes, yes, just like that. And then we're going to have a helper function down here. Call this build WebSocket event that takes in the job UUID, the job type, and the event. And actually, I'm going to turn this into a type. These are all events. And we're going to pass it into here instead, just so it's a little bit easier. Right, this is now a type that we can use, and we can pass it everywhere where we make use of it. So this will construct an event, a WebSocket event with the job ID. All of this, map it over to the value, yes. Dot value? It doesn't need to be dot value. And the event is the event, yes. That's much better. That should be fine. Job type, event type. Is there anything else that we need to have here? I don't think so for now. Okay. If there's nothing else, then we'll just go through and update all of these fields, and that should be fine. So we need a job ID that is required. It can optionally take a string. Okay. This one, we can optionally set a Boolean. This by default is false. Okay, context clear. There's nothing to do there. Configuration request. This seemed to be fine. Character name, optional string, none. Name of the character, length, optional none. This should be a path. No, a string, right? All of that is fine. Yes. Context add request. Wait, context request add. Context request add. Context request add. Oh, no, this is a request. Right. Okay. No, that's fine. Actually, is that fine? I thought I changed that part of the API. Huh. I guess not. Really? Well, I guess not. I guess requests are different from conversation, which is different from context. Which is kind of interesting, but I'll just leave it for now because that's what I have right now. I might remove it because I don't really think there's a use for request as opposed to just having like context or something. Although, actually no, I'll keep the request. Timestamp, Unix timestamps of the message, that's fine. User and content. User. All of these. I should say greater than. Audio bytes. This is a string. This is base 64 encoded in UTF-8. Containing speech. And that should be fine as well. Context, custom register. Yup. And this can be optional, yes. Actually, if it's optional, then I'm just gonna include it, but I'm gonna give it a default of an empty string. And for timestamp, instead of having a default of none, I'm gonna auto-generate it. So this is default factory is time.time. Now I need to import this. Import time. Where is it? Here we go. This is it. I'm actually going to move this into utils. This actually makes sense inside of utils. I'm gonna put it inside of time. Time now. Time now is equal to this. I don't know if this is like proper practice within Python, if I should be using capitals on it like this, but whatever. For import from utils helpers time, get time now, and this should be time now. Treating it almost like a constant, but it's not really a constant. I can make use of this over here as well. There we go. These ones being none actually does make sense because I want those to actually be optionals. This one, cancel request, reason. If we're not given a reason, then we'll just say job canceled through request. We'll just say that for our default. This doesn't need to be optional because by default it is false. These can be optionals. Those can be those are not optionals. Those are fine. Timestamp here. Custom request add. Again, this can take our default factory here. Where's my default factory? Where is it? Look, I'm so blind. Where is it? Okay, here we go. This is going to be the unique identifier for the context as well as the contents of the context. Okay. Operation config item. Anything to do with the configuration, I'm just gonna leave for now. Because I'll need to make changes to the configuration as well as the actual entire system, really. Like the entire system, the architecture is gonna look the same. It's just gonna be implemented slightly differently so that it's more maintainable, really. So I'm just gonna put a to-do on here. Anything with config is also just gonna have a to-do on it. But no, this is all fine. This to-do. Operation config request. Reload request, this is fine. Use request, again, I'm gonna modify this quite a bit. Operation load request. This is more to do with configuration. Same with this one, this is more to do with configuration. This is more to do with configuration. All of this is really to do with configuration, so there's stuff that I'm gonna have to worry about later on. Same with you, same with you. This is fine. Gen job request. Is there anything else I need to pass back with gen job request? No, I don't think so. Now, I'm thinking for these ones, I might also want to pass some metrics metadata as well. That's what I was thinking at least, but I'm not sure. Because I'm already doing performance metrics for the individual API requests here. However, I'm not doing anything for the side of jobs, and I feel like that would be interesting to see, right? So I guess for these events, I'm gonna have base job finish. And this is gonna contain a bunch of different, this is gonna contain a bunch of different metrics. So to do fill with metrics. And all of these other completion events are going to inherit from it. So they're also going to have the same metrics, but they may have their own extra stuff such as reasons and whatnot, right? So inside of finish event here, I know what I want is time for completion or duration, let's just say. Duration of the job in milliseconds. I don't know if it's going to be milliseconds. It might be milliseconds. Sure, let's just put it in milliseconds, I guess. Or actually, what is time measure in? I'm going to say nanoseconds. Because perf counter measures in nanoseconds. Anything else that I need to measure? For now, not really. This will make it so in the future, whenever I make like a dashboard or something, I can see how long the latency of each of my requests take, or each of my jobs take, and see if it gets worse and worse as time goes on and stuff like that, right? I can basically use these metrics inside of a dashboard. Same with the ones that I have inside of my requests. Anything else I need to do here? Okay, let me, what are we working on right now? We are working on anything and whatever with Project Vita, the open source version. Right now, I'm just refactoring the API to make use of Fast API as opposed to Flask now. Limit, is Jax gonna come back? I hope so. Honestly, I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure. I don't feel like she has much of a reason to stay out of the server. It's up to her though, really. I'm not the type of person, just because they left the server, I'm not gonna hunt them down and be like, why'd you leave the server? You have to come back. Fuck you. Guys, why? This is like you're the fourth person to come in here and say, tell me to fuck myself. Like, what the hell, guys? Fucking hell, stop yapping. Alright then, you can get 5 minutes of silence out of me. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. Say yes. You know what, if it makes you feel better, sure, Jags is coming back. Just go to bed, come back, and everything will be the same as it always has. Okay, I'm gonna assume this is fine now. I'm not gonna push these changes just yet because I need to also update the JEISON application layer. Do I do that now? It's been 2 hours. This feels like a kid asking about the cat that died last night. Exactly, like, no. They aren't dead. They're just taking a very long nap. One that's gonna outlive you. And you're never gonna see them wake up again. Unless if a miracle happens. I don't know. Maybe they're dead. Maybe they're just sleeping. Alright, this part is fine now. Inside of main, we'll need to do some stuff to change the setup here, but we can do app.run, async.run, app.start. What the fuck do we do for this? How do we run this again? I have a script for running this inside of my personal version. Where is it? The script for it is run Vita. Run Vita. This is the script that I have. For run Vita, we're just using UV corn to run it. I'm just gonna copy paste this, honestly. This entire stream has just been me copy pasting code from my own personal version into this project. Okay, for setting up all of this stuff, async IO. No, this part we don't need. UV corn config, service config. I don't know. Vita common, run args, into service args. What's different here? Hold on. Because this is the command that I use to run it, right? Am I going to leak anything by showing this? No. This is the command that I use to run it, right? Alt Z. Yes, there we go, word wrap. So we have service, we have name. This is all part of my service config stuff. But what do I actually need? Because this is all going to come from, what the fuck? Log levels, right?
Limit say, I am not Shadows's bot, I am limit FRFR.
What? What is this supposed to be? Did Shadows make a limit AI bot? Did you guys finally make a limit AI VTuber to replace me? Oh my god. My job's getting taken by AI already. I did say it. I literally did say it. I'm not Shadows' bot. I'm limit for real, for real. Oh god. Oh god, you're gonna clip it and put it inside of their bot now so it can properly imitate me. I see how it is. All right. What do we have for args actually? Inside of... Oh, did I delete it all? Yeah, I think I deleted it all. And we have args here, right? I can just import the args from here and then parse them out. So from... Oh, I already do get it here, the args here. For args, we get the environment, which we do use, the config, the host, the port, the log level, and the log directory. Yes? Yes. People didn't get GI since, so they made AI limit. That's exactly what's going on here. I was sick for 1 week and they were like, man, we miss limit. We miss limit so much. We're going to make an AI clone of him so we can replace him so he can never have sick days again. Wow. What a dystopia we live in. I love it. Time args. Config, we're going to get rid of these for the time being. Config doesn't exist. Logging, we're going to have at a universal level now. But I guess for the time being, I'll get rid of it. I'll get rid of all of this for the time being. And we're just going to have UVcorn run with this app name. This is going to be under server. Dot app. Server.app server. And then it's going to be inside of there. Yes. Right? Is this right? Yes, this will be right. Reload sources. No. And the runtime arguments are going to be like so. So we have a log directory. We don't need log directory. We don't need a log level because that's already set up at the top level. And port host config, config is equal to args.config. There we go. This should be fine now. I hope at least. How generous of everybody. In case you ever die due to your shenanigans, you could just replace you with AI. Ah, yes, sounding like a true corporate head. Oh no, our newest hire just died. Oh well, we can replace him. We have enough training data off of him, off of after all the key logging and all that shit. It's like he never left, you know? Okay, this should be good. I don't know. Let me check again if I need to set up logger inside of the app level as well, or if just setting it up at the run script is enough. I'm pretty sure setting it up in the script level is enough. But just to be sure, server, we don't set up any logging here. Logging should be set up by import logging. Config is equal to this. Setup logger. Set up the logger. Yes, okay, this is all fine then. This is all fine. And in fact, let me make some more edits to this actually, because I'm not happy with how I've set up the logger here, as well as the .env with the args. Actually, no, this part's fine, but this logger part is not good. We'll first get the args, then we'll get the environment variables, then we'll get the logger, and then everything else. Like nothing happened? Exactly, like nothing ever happened. For setup logger, I want to change it so we get args dot log level as well as args dot log directory and silent. The silent stuff we don't need a pass. The config stuff, I don't know if we actually need to run that. I think we do. Yeah, we should be passing the config here. And in fact, I'm gonna call this. Actually, no, we'll just leave it as config for now. Fuck it. Silent, log directory, log level. These are all stuff that are needed by logging over here. And I'm gonna change it so the function start logger will take all of these values and we'll make use of them inside of here as opposed to getting args directly, just to minimize the dependencies. All right, we can get rid of that. The start time, we don't need to worry about start time. We can just import from helpers time, time now. This isn't all that readable though. I'll just import from timestamp. From datetime, import datetime. I mean, this is kind of unnecessary since I already have the functions inside of my time module, but whatever. Where is it? Time now, time now. Datetime dot from, oh my god, I can't type, from timestamp. Yes, this will create a datetime object and then I transform it into this format, and that is the name of our logger file. And actually, one thing I do want to do is replace the logging module with rich instead, because rich is much better for debugging and dumping objects and stuff. Logging is not so great in comparison to Rich, because Rich just does everything it can and better, really. So this is all good. This sets up the logger at the main level. And so we can actually make use of the logger inside of here now, which I'm going to use to set up the logger, or just print this stuff here, really. Yeah. Try. Finally. Now, instead of using the let me see, what do I do here? Do I use the default logger or do I set up a new logger? Get logger. Okay, I used the default logger, which is good. That is fine. Ignore everything I was about to say. This is all good now. We are starting app server, yes, and then we're shutting down app server. That's okay. That's all fine. So this should start everything up correctly. We need to refactor JEISON a little bit in order to make use of, or in order to properly accept all of the new information here. And that should be fine. Right. Yes. Okay, that should be fine. Args. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep args there, whatever. Args config, sure. So I'm not sure how I want to structure this. I would like for a section for config. Like a section for config. I want a section for the core, the actual application. So we'll call it Vita. And this can just go into there. No, not into there. Where's Vita? Along with prompter stuff, MCP stuff. Oh, it's just going to require a lot of refactoring actually to make sure it all works properly. But yeah, let me just move all of this stuff into there. Processes. Yeah, that makes sense because this incorporates Cobalt and everything. MCP all goes into there. So we just have helpers. The server, don't need anything with that. We have stuff for args, we have stuff for config, this can go into here. Logging, that's fine. All the helpers here, they can come out, honestly. And same with time, actually. And singleton, this is defunct. I'm getting rid of singletons. Okay, we have a lot to fucking refactor now. Fuck. Let's touch the files that we just touched. Actually, no, we'll fix the imports along the way. First of all, with main pie. I'm just thinking if putting this here is the proper way I should do things. I think it is. It's fine. So from util.args, this is fine. Util.logging, that is fine. Okay, all of that looks fine. For JEISON, we'll come to this in a moment because this is going to be massive. Side of utils, we have get current time, timestamp string, timestamp to string. I'm not going to worry about these for now. Just worry about the imports. Path. This creates a portable path. That's fine. The observer. Okay, this is just a design pattern that was originally used for the WebSocket broadcasting. Now that we're not making use of that, we don't need this anymore for anything. So I'm just going to get rid of this. I don't think it's used for anything, right? I mean, just looking at it. Yeah, it's not used for anything. Get rid of it. Multiplexer. This is used by JEISON's application layer in order to multiplex asynchronous streams. So yes, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this. It's not importing anything anyways, so that's fine. And we do use default logging, it seems. So that's fine. Iterable, this allows me to change, this is a helper to change things like iterables into actual generators and stuff. That's fine. Or to chunk iterables. Audio, this needs to change to config. And I'm gonna have a file in here, call this init, with the same thing, from .config import config. Just like that. This should be fine. And args is args. We don't need to worry about this one. So utils is fine. WebSocket server. Data, yes, this is fine. Helper. This is fine. App server. This will need some changing. There are some stuff that we can get rid of here. Where does optional come from? Oh, there. Yeah, that's fine. We don't need async IO, base64, JSON. We don't need any of those. Right? Yeah, we don't need any of those. We don't need JSON response. We don't need field. Where's base model being used? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We aren't taking any args anymore. Singleton is defunct. This is Vita. Job type has been moved out of here. Although I'm not sure if that should be the case. Non-existent job exception. That's fine. From config, we import that from config. Observer no longer exists. The rest of these are fine, I believe. Actually, we don't even use config here. This is not needed. All of this seems fine now. And inside of here, all we need to reveal is the Vita server. Yes, that's all we need to reveal. Data, this should be fine. Oh, we need to change this though. And that's all fine now. Side of configs, this is not a singleton. This is utils.path. This is non-existent. This is utils.arg. I will need to make some changes to this, no? Because what do I use over here? What is all of this for? So when I pass this, I also have to pass some other stuff. What is inside of... UV core, UV runtime args. Is UV core runtime args? Oh, that's fine. Yeah. We actually don't need a pass config at all. Yeah, we don't need a pass config at all. Where the fuck is it? Inside of here, passing config is incorrect. We shouldn't be passing config here. But that means we need to do something about the config inside of here, right? I believe we should still be able to access args from the server level, right? Otherwise, how the fuck do we access that information? I'm looking around and I don't actually see where I can get that information. How the fuck am I setting up the config? Service config. Util config, service config. I know you guys can't see anything. I just need to review this stuff on my side. Because I'm only getting it from here. I'm only parsing the CLI args. Oh, that's what's happening, no? Wait, but then... Service, CLI commander. Okay, I can show you a little bit. Basically, what I'm having contentions with is inside of here, we need to make use of... We need to be able to pass the initial configuration via the CLI, right? Which are runtime arguments. And normally you would use argparse to get that information. But since we're using UVcorn run here, we can't actually pass our own keyword arguments into here. Otherwise, it just isn't going to get passed along, right? If I look at this, you can see that we have... Yeah, it's strict. It's not going to take any additional keyword arguments anywhere here. And so we can't pass something like the config arguments keyword down to the other processes. However, I am seeing here that we do set up service configs. However, this only takes the this only takes the CLI arguments and is only done through this main script, not actually within the server itself, right? You see here we have nothing that says anything about args. However, all of these services are configurable, and what we're doing is we're configuring them through the API. My question is, how the fuck are we setting this up to configure it through the API? Everything becomes healthy, and then what I do? Service config, Vita config. The request is, what the fuck is this? The service is a config for one of these and it switches between them to configure them. Yes. This changes scenes, updates, all of that stuff. Yeah. How does this work, man? Inside this lifecycle, we have Vita Core. Inside of Vita Core, because I do know that this system works, right? I've tested this myself. Let me put this to the side so I don't accidentally leak anything. I know that this system works to automatically configure everything, but how the fuck do I configure this? Oh, args, service config, Vita service args. What the fuck? I guess they are transient. Whatever args we specified in past to this script, even though we're doing this uvcorn.run, we're still passing the args down. I guess because they're all still part of the same process, right? This isn't technically starting a new process. This is all part of the same process. This just creates a new thread and then waits for the thread that has all of this running to clean up before coming back to here and shutting down. Okay, that actually makes sense. So that's fine, actually. We don't need this. And instead, we can set up the config inside of this level, which makes things a lot easier because that means that whenever we do receive an update to the configuration, we can try and wait for a specific flag to be set to try and reload the entire application. Maybe. I don't know. That's something that I'll have to worry about later. But for now, this is fine. That's just for me to think about later on. But all of this is now fine, except for, I guess, maybe this. Right, this is not right at all because this is a singleton and we don't have singletons around here. Portable path, that's fine. All this extra stuff we'll need to edit later on. But this doesn't deal with CLI arguments at all and is initially configured or initially set by the JIS and application layer. So all of this is now fine. What we need to edit now is this Vita directory, and this is fucking big. This is massive, and depending how fucked up I did my dependencies is gonna determine how complicated or how long we spend on this refactoring part. Oh god, please say I did something right for once. In fact, let me rename this. We'll start refactoring this part now. Because we renamed that to Vita, we're also going to have to change the app server here as well, so that we have the import here being import Vita core from Vita. Right? And inside of Vita, again, we're going to have an init.py that exports everything. So all is equal to Vita core and that's, and we're going to import these from here. Now, JISON is going to get renamed to Vita core. And you are not a singleton. Get rid of this. Helpers does not exist. Config does not exist. Prompter is here. Operations and processes is here. We don't have a server, and MCP is also here. Now we don't need to have this unknown job type thing because that's automatically handled by the enum. The job type is also not going to be here. That's imported elsewhere. Anything else we need to update? I need to add these to config. All right, there we go. Anything else we need to do? We need to add the data from data server API, import. I'm going to import everything because we need everything here. So that's going to import job type, and that should be fine. Now the event server, I'm going to call this broadcast queue instead. And this should have been given that from here. From the app server called the broadcast queue. Actually, no, I'm not even going to make this like that. This needs to be required. What are we doing? I am refactoring Project JISON to make use of Fast API. I also need to change all of these so they're optional. That's annoying. Okay, fine. No. Put them all. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Start, stop. I'm gonna call this close instead. Yeah, because I call it close out there. This observer server doesn't exist. All of these, oh my god. I need this. Man, why the fuck do I construct everything once I call start? That just seems so unnecessary. Oh, whatever. Is this all? No. Is this all? That seems to be all for there. Okay. Task to clean. That's okay. And then all of this is fine. And now, wherever we use self.event server, nice, thank God I did my future self a favor here and I put them in some helper functions as opposed to throwing it all over the place. Here we're just going to on queue. This is to broadcast value, job type value. No, we don't need to do that. We can just do self.broadcast queue, and instead of broadcast to put, this broadcast queue is of type, I need to add it here, is of type WebSocket event. And so inside of these guys down here, we need to construct some WebSocket events. WebSocket event. Now we'll take a job ID. No. No. We have a function for this. Build WebSocket event, which takes a job ID, a job type, and the to broadcast, which should not be a dictionary like this, but instead a event. I'm gonna call this a, in fact, what do we call this? Do we have a base for it? It's one of the all types or all events. And so we don't actually need any of this. We can get rid of you, and if we want to add debugging to this, we can just add that to the the WebSocket server itself. And we actually don't need these three either, or these other ones as well. We can just keep it generic like this, right? Is that right? Handle broadcast error, handle broadcast error. I need to look at this part in a little bit as well. So what the fuck did I do here? I would rather have a... I would rather have a better way of constructing these errors, making use of fast API, as opposed to having to create these manually like this, right? Using the error exception, maybe there's something we can do with error codes. Error codes? I can have an error code enum, actually. That's something I could do. In any case, though, I will need to rethink how I approach this one at least. But all of this, we are not going to make use of. We're just going to have this handle broadcast function. So this will put it into the queue. That's pretty much instant. We don't have to wait for the actual broadcast to happen. They're going to happen asynchronously. And so all of this is fine. This is a UID.UID. That's okay. I'm actually going to move this all the way up to the top. Around here. Alright. That's okay. All right, what now? We have create job here. Create job. How am I making use of this inside of here? Create job. We're taking the job type, job ID, and then whatever we pass. What? What? Why am I model dumping this? Oh. Yeah. Fuck. Validation, all of that stuff gets passed down to here. I mean, they still need to generate it anyways and return it up. So I might as well still be importing it. Actually, no, this is fine, I think. No, just give me the request data, honestly. Give me the request data. Because this should be a helper for the bigger thing here. So create job, this is going to take the job type, the job ID, as well as the data. So I'm going to change this so it takes all three like so, since this is a helper function. So let's take a job type of type. Let me just put them side by side just to make it easier. Job type, job ID, and data being some sort of base model. We don't need this new job UUID. We're just going to use the one that was automatically generated. We don't need the job type either because we're already getting job type from here. And job type enum, we don't need this. We can just have a dictionary that maps it all out, right? So oh my fucking god, stop AI. Let me fucking tab. Okay. Job type to handler. And this is going to be all of this. So we have response pipeline, all of this. Actually, no, let me update this hinting so it can help me a little bit better. This is going to be from a job type to a callable. This callable needs to be ported here. Callable or awaitable? Awaitable. Callable. Async awaitable. Nah, just call it callable. This will be self dot response pipeline, and all of these can be added as well. Oh, but this is a problem because self doesn't exist just yet. I guess at this level, these don't really matter. Although I'm pretty sure they are still needed, right? Yes, because they're not defined yet inside of this class, which means we have to define it all the way up here instead. That's okay. But this makes things a little bit easier to maintain, as I can take... Oh wait, I need to put self on this. As I can take that map and I can make use of it inside of here to easily get the coroutine that we need. So this is a self. We get the job type out of here, and then we call it with the appropriate job ID, the job type, as well as the data that has been spread out as keyword arguments. And this is our coroutine. Now, if the key doesn't exist here, then we'll get back that error and yeah, woo code fix. Look at this. This is going to be so satisfying right here. Boom. That's so much easier. And I can handle this key error exception inside of the app server right here, right? Inside of this helper function, we'll get a key error. If that's the case, then honestly, that's an unknown exception, because it realistically shouldn't get to that point, because it's already being validated by our data models, so that should never happen. Yeah, that's so much cleaner now. The new job ID is just job ID, and the job enum is just job type. And then we log it out, and we don't need this. We need the gen job request or gen job response, like so. There we go. Much nicer. Anything else we need to do? I can also get rid of coroutine here as well. Just replace it like so. Let's go for as little lines as possible while not being a complete one-liner. This feels a lot more readable already though. Yes, yes. And then canceling. Right, we add the job via the job ID into our job map. And then we add it to the queue. Yes. Yes, that makes sense. And whenever we cancel the job, if it's not in the map, then the job doesn't exist. If we already get the reasoning from here already, so that's fine. Right? We get the reasoning already. Cancel, cancel. Yeah, we get the reasoning already. Just do that. Or nah, I'll just keep it there. The annoying thing is that now that I have my pi, I actually need to properly annotate all my types, which includes like simple stuff like this, where if I just want to put none for it, I need to annotate this properly with optional for everything, and this gets really bloated. This is a uuid.uuid. Even though it's not really optional, it really should be here. So I'm just gonna add it actually. Fuck consistency. There's a point where consistency just doesn't matter. This cancel message. Yeah, that's fine. Why are you doing another refactoring? This isn't like... Okay, because this is a public project now. This isn't refactoring. This isn't me stalling progression on main JAI SYN now, right? This isn't me stalling progression of my own AI VTuber. This is me trying to polish up this project for the wider public to contribute to, right? Are you stuck in a loop of refactoring? Because I don't know what else to add right now, right? I'm literally, my only purpose for this right now, for this stream and all of these future working on public Project Vita streams, is for me to force myself to sit down and actually contribute something to the project. But again, you guys know how far I've gone in terms of learning for my entire coding career, basically. So I don't know what I want to do for a UI. I don't know what I want to do for memory and all of that stuff. All of that stuff, if I'm going to implement them into the public version of Project Vita, then I'm going to first implement them into my own version before I implement them into Project Vita, right? So there's literally nothing else for me to do besides refactor and fix all the bugs right now, which is what I'm doing, right? Because this project is no longer what I'm going to be using. This is going to be the project that you guys are using, and I don't want to leave you guys with some shit-ass project that's using Flask or the REST API, for example, right? So this isn't really refactoring because I'm stuck up on perfectionism. This is me refactoring because, well, this can be better and I have nothing else to do right now. This is fine. Job ID is current job ID. Yes, okay. Because if this is the current job ID, then we just cancel it for the specific reason. Clear current job. Otherwise, we add it to the skip list. Job skips. Cancel message. Yes, okay, this makes sense. We're adding the specific job ID entry along with this actual cancel message. No, I don't want to pass the cancel message. I want to pass the reason. This way, it will actually cancel it, and that's fine, because this doesn't have to be in order and whatever. At least today, you sound better than yesterday. Don't worry about the UI. Just check the Discord web UI. Or just check my Discord web UI. Simple, and probably have to change that, but I have like to add some cool things and not do front end. Your Discord web UI. do you mean your Discord web UI? I mean, like, no, my point isn't the fact that like, oh, I don't know how I want to design my UI. It's like, I don't know how I want to implement the UI. I don't know if I want to go the browser approach. I don't know if I want to go a desktop application approach. I don't even know if I want to do like, have it built into this project or separately as a different application, stuff like that, right? It's mostly design choices and and I still need more time to experiment before I can make a good decision that ends up being public. And that's the main thing, because once something becomes public, it's very hard to backtrack. If you start backtracking when you're pushing to a public repository, then it becomes like there becomes a lot of distrust towards the maintenance and like stability of this project. Right now, it's fine, right? Because who the fuck is actually using this? Let's be honest. But like in the future, if this actually does see more attraction and this actually does become a proper application, then I need to be more serious in terms of what actually makes it into here and what doesn't. I can't just be like, I'm gonna just commit random things and test in production, because that's not how this is gonna work, right? I can't just be like one day, oh yeah, I want to have a browser UI, and then another day I'm just like, oh, I want to switch up and go to a desktop application because it's more streamlined or something like that, right? So yeah, as it stands, pretty much any feature that makes it into here is not going to be the first time I've implemented it. It's going to be the third, maybe fourth time I've implemented it. All the other times are going to be from testing and from times that I've implemented it for my own personal version, right? So like, even though I'm saying this is going to be open to the public for contributions and it's not going to be feature locked anymore, there's like an asterisk to it, because I'm going to have a very high bar and there's going to be a lot of review process for any potential feature that gets implemented and added into here. Job map, pop, that one. Clear current job, clear current job. Oh yeah, this is fine. Clear current job will... Let me put this on top actually. This will pop out of here. If this is inside of job skips, it'll also pop it, although... if this is inside of here, then I want to not pop it, but I want to delete it. This one, same with this one actually. Just copy paste. Job map, job map. From what I know for now, people prefer web UI configuration and can be done visually to have it cool looking. Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't want the web UI to just be for... I don't want the web UI to just be for configuration, right? I don't want it to just be a dashboard. I don't want it... There's a lot of features. I basically want this to be its own standalone project where it's just one thing you open and everything you would ever need is on that page, right? You could have it be a web UI, sure, but I don't have enough experience to say, okay, is the web UI gonna port everything that I need in order to run the features that I would want for this project, right? Web UI is the most portable. Yes, I do agree for that, but it's also like, what is the design philosophy that I also want for this project as well, right? Do I necessarily want this to run in a browser, for example? I could take a different approach and have it run in a browser-like window, something like LM Studio, right? Get that kind of approach. My main concern is I don't want it to look like something like Cobalt, for example, where it's looks very scrappy or incomplete, or it's all over the place where you have the desktop application that loads up for configuration, and then within that, you use that to launch a browser. Like, that experience is just scuffed, right? I'm overall just thinking of user experience here and what I want the vision for this project to be like. Because I'm not entirely sold on having this just be a tab inside of your browser that you pull up and run, right? Because in my opinion, that just seems kind of lame. It does get the job done, and the code would probably be exactly the same as something like LM Studio, but I just don't want it to be like that. Again, it's like not something that I'm concerned about right now. I honestly do not care if this has a web UI right now. I've told myself already that I myself am not going to implement it until I've played around more with UI and got a feel for the things that I like and don't like about my different options after I implement them inside of my own personal version of Project Vita. But if there's like an overwhelming consensus that, oh, we want this to be a desktop application, or oh, we want this to just be a web browser application, then sure. If a commit comes in, if a pull request comes in with somebody implementing that, then I might consider it. But then there's also the question of, do I add it directly into here, or do I add it as a separate application and then package everything together and all that kind of stuff, right? Again, it's all, I guess you would call it, decisions or details. Task in, task to clean? Yes, okay. Wait, task? Where the fuck is task coming from? Oh, this cleans it up in between jobs. Okay, clear current job. I guess I should call this clean current job, but I'll call it clean current job. This goes through all the tasks, cleans them up, goes to the job current, is not none, then it'll cancel that one if it's not already none, and set it to none, and that's fine. Now, where is this function? Clear job, clean job. Job process loop, clean job, clean job. All right, inside of the process job loop, process manager, reload, unload. This is stuff that I need to rethink because this is going to tie into configuration as well. To do, I'll remember that. Current job ID. Current job ID. Job current ID, job queue. Really? Wait, the job queue, I thought I added more stuff to it than just this. When I create a job, I only put the job ID? Well, I guess that makes sense because it's a dictionary mapping to those. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, okay. And we get the job type in coroutine from accessing it via the job map. Now, if the job ID is inside of skips, then I want to get the reason for it, and I want to broadcast that out. Handle broadcast. Current job ID with the job type and the I'm gonna pass just a reason. Wait. No. Because this needs to be some sort of data model. This is an event. This has to be a job cancel event. Right? Job cancel event. Why am I getting the job ID here? Job cancel event with only has the reason. This was hallucinated. First, you are not sure how to really look, and that is normal, and yes, experimenting is a way to find out how to be sure. Same, I don't care for the UI as long as the code works on the console. In my case, my project that I will use is for my bachelor, your local AI, and I haven't done the web interface something special. It's simple, just enough to not get disgust from looking at it. Most of the time, I manually edit the env file, and the code and go into the web UI. Yeah, that's the thing, right? And that's also because like, that's just your own project. You're completely familiar with how to configure and all of that stuff, right? So you don't really have to put that much effort into web UI. Like I myself, I don't even need a web UI, to be honest. I've gone this entire time without needing to use the web UI at all, when there was one at least. And I'm honestly fine with that workflow, but it's just for my objective. It's for other people as well, right? This one. Other people would want a web UI, especially if they're non-technical, so they can see everything in one place and know how to actually edit it. That's just something different. And so I don't really want to fuck it up the first time. Delete Coro. Handle broadcast. Yes, we cleaned that up. Delete Coro though. We don't need to delete coroutine because that already clears itself, right? Oh no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Coro dot send throw. Deleting Coro's fine. That's honestly what we've been doing up until now. I'm not going to change this logic too heavily because this is for the most part already fine, right? Like how do I modify this inside of my own version? Inside of the handler, you put job UID, job that. You cancel and you run task. I guess this looks bigger than it is because of all of this and the fact that I need to clean the job. Yeah, because the logic I have for handling all the state is a lot more simplified, so I don't actually need this clean current job. I might as well just keep it here. Otherwise, we create a new task and we all wait on it. Yeah, and then if we get an exception out of it, we handle this broadcast. Once again, this is going to be job fail event with the reason inside of there. Due to an error, and I'm going to say error inside of here. Clean current job. Yeah, we clean current job at the end. That is fine. All of this is fine. If we do fail, error encountered in main job processing loop. I'm not gonna await here. I don't know why I'm awaiting here. We don't need that. The rest of this is fine. Sure. Is that fine? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. For here, this doesn't take anything, right? This doesn't take anything either. All of those are fine. Oh, wait, no. This has to return a new state or a new object type. And for now, I'm just gonna do something like this. Because I still don't know what to actually put for these. But these are dictionaries, so I can just spread them out and it should be fine for now. We're not actually going to get any information back from these because our data model is empty, but eh. The rest of these shouldn't be returning anything because they're coroutines, and that's okay. Okay, I think this should be runnable now. Let me just quickly check. Include audio boolean, that's all fine. Configure context, that's all fine. That's all fine. Okay, yeah, honestly, this should be fine. I don't think I need to refactor anything else here. So let's see if this all compiles. I'm not gonna actually test the individual endpoints, but I want to see if everything like runs correctly in terms of all the imports are fine, or the ones that are on initial import are fine. If all of the doc generation is fine, if the API is fine. I'm not going to push up these changes, obviously, because they're still incomplete, but I just want to see where we're at right now. And if it's all good, then I think I'm going to call it for today. So, python./source/main. And for this, I need to specify, where's my readme? I just need config, right? Where is... I just need config, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let me just check if they have a default. They really should specify what the default is inside of here. But this should be under utils, args. Huh. Default is none. Who would have guessed? Log directory, that has a default, that has a default. These have defaults. Okay, so I just need to run env as, I forget where my environment is. Let me find it. here, and oh my god. My config is going to be example, I'm pretty sure, because this is a new repository. Configs, example. Cannot import time now from, okay, yep, this is what I was talking about. What? Oh, What's it called? What's it called? Ah, okay. Get rid of utils here. No packages to uninstall? Are you kidding me? Okay, let me get rid of those. Because whenever you do pip install dot, it installs your current repository as though that's a package, which is one thing I don't really like. Utils. That shouldn't be the case. Same with Vita core being here. Shouldn't have that. That should be it though. Module not found. Source utils logging. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, what's this? Date time from timestamp. Function cannot be interpreted as an integer. Oh, because this is not a constant, this is a function. There we go, starting app server. Cannot import module helpers. Yes. Oh, I forgot. Oh no, we're nowhere near done, bro. I only looked at JEISON application layer and none of these other ones. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. Okay. Okay, we're not nowhere near done yet. Oh my, fuck me. Vita, yep. Okay, this part's helpers. Get rid of you. Singleton, get rid of you. And we don't have singleton here. That means wherever we have prompter, we need to specify with an actual prompter, right? Oh, good. Thank God. Okay, that's fine. But I need to check that the other ones don't contact prompter for some reason. They shouldn't, at least. I don't think they should. I can check, actually. Under source, I want to check for instances of prompter. Inside of Vita, we instantiate once. Inside of Cobalt Pi. Why the fuck do we use this here? Oh. Because I don't distinguish between responses and chat messages. Oh my god, am I stupid? Maybe? Oh, okay. Well. Oh my god, man. Well, at least that's only in 2 locations. That's easy to fix, I guess. But that's also really fucking annoying. Let me just make a global to-do. To-do, I need to flesh out all WebSocket events, ensure singleton usages are refactored out. That's 2 things. Complete data models for response stuff. I also need to complete refactor configuration cycle and configuration and operation loading cycle, because these 2 go hand in hand. In terms of immediate things for this project, that's all that I remember needing to change. Right now, I'm just gonna fix up all the imports and I'll worry about the fixes later. Utils, dot context, yeah, okay, that's fine. Dot prompter, out with the prompter. Side of processes, we have get rid of you, in fact, singleton, get out of here. Okay, next up, errors, that's fine. PS util, that's fine. And that's fine. Side of here, we have no helpers, we have no singleton, and config here. Now singleton. Yeah, that's all good. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I have to do it for all of these. No. No. What the heck is... Oh, no. Fuck. I regret making all of these implementations, man. Fuck open source. Why? Oh. Oh. No. Oh my god, okay. Okay. We'll get there slowly but surely. Util processes? Yeah, that's fine. Wait, it's not under processes though, is it? It's under Vita now. Oh. This is... Oh my god. We're gonna be here for a while. Okay, this is fine at least, right? Yeah, thank god for relative imports. Oh my god, if I did everything with relative imports, I don't know where I would be at right now. I might just quit, like, cause that's fucked. That's actually fucked. If I had to redo every single relative import. Okay, Kobold. Vita. The consequences of my decisions. Okay, these ones are fine. I'm hoping these ones are also actually, I don't know if RVC is gonna be fine. No. Okay, RVC is not that bad. But then I need to refactor this because it's not. They're not singletons. Fuck the refactor, the fucking config system, man. Oh my god. This config system's ass. Wanna be brave and use refactor? I don't know, cursor. No, I don't trust refactor enough, and there's too much stuff to change for me to trust it. Like, it couldn't even get the documentation, the conversion of documentation to Pydantic models correct for RVC. I don't trust it with this, okay? I only trust it for small snippets of code, okay? That's as far as I'm gonna trust it for, or shit that I just do not care about, but this I do care about. So I refuse to let it fucking manhandle this fucking entire thing. Okay, this wasn't so bad. Honestly, this wasn't so bad. Oh, I forgot about this. Okay, this isn't so bad either. Singleton, out of here. This one. Be sure to make singleton. No. I'll need to refactor that, I think, as well, because maybe there's a problem with that. Oh my fucking god. This is so overly complicated. For what? For what? For modularity? For extensibility? So people can add their own features? Wow. This code would be 10 times smaller if not for any of that in all open source projects. Oh my god, man. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Be careful what you change because that may put almost most of the code in refactoring. Most of the code is going under refactoring anyways. I already said that most of the code I am not happy with and I can do much better. And that's the point of what I'm doing today. The structure of the project is going to be the same. I'm just cleaning up the code so it's more robust and easier to maintain, really. The architecture I'm completely fine with. It's just the design choices I made, like using singleton and the configuration and all of that stuff is just like, if I want to progress with it, I need to refactor at some point anyways. I might as well do it now when I have nothing else to do. This part's fine. MCP manager is honestly easy. Did I fix all of this? I don't even remember. I think I did. Okay, let's try again. Go. Import all. Huh. Error response from server. What is this? Can I import error?
Alex_X0R is now following.
Thank you, LXXOR, for the follow. We're importing it from here. This is wrong. We don't have an error response because we're using HTTP error. Wait, where's this coming from? Oh, huh? Yeah, we're not using that at all. Non-type is not callable. The fuck you mean? Broadcast task. Broadcast task is... Oh. Because they're the same name. This is broadcast loop, let's say. What are you building? I'm refactoring parts of the open source AI VTuber project that I'm maintaining. Called Project Vita. What the fuck happened here? Basically, this has been a thing for a while, but there's a lot of lore to it. Right now, I'm just making it so other people can actually contribute to this now and not just myself, because I'm pretty much handing this over to the public. Broadcast loop missing one requirement message. What? Fuss? No. Started server process, waiting for application startup. Started application layer. Wow, that was fast. Oh wait, it's not done yet. That's the old one. The new one, I can link that in chat right now. I should update the GitHub thing, honestly, to the new organization that I made. But this is the new repository for it. That one is pretty much just an archive for all of my YouTube videos, so people can go and download the archived code so they can reference it for their own projects. Oh, I forgot I need to download all the models for this. Fuck, this is gonna take a while. But if this all runs fine, and if the API, if the documentation looks okay, like correct at a glance, then I'm just gonna leave it there for today, because I got some more stuff I need to start running overnight. Then I'm gonna go to bed because I got work tomorrow. This is taking a long time. Package resources deprecated as an API. Oh, okay, we finished downloading Koala Mod. Oh no, we didn't. What the fuck did we download? Why did that take so long to load? Filter clean. Huh. Well, this is now open. Now open and external. And if I come over to /docs, we have the documentation from Fast API, very nice. And all of these should hopefully be fine. These are normal get operations, right? Get operations are fine. This is get loaded operations, there should be nothing for that. This one, load, request body. This one needs modification, is on the to-do list. All of this operation stuff is on the to-do list, but this looks correct for now. So, but I'm gonna skip those for now, as well as configuration, because these two, they need refactoring, so they're gonna change anyways. Miscellaneous, cancel job. This will example body, job ID, and reasoning. This will return nothing. Yes, we can also get a 422 for validation error. Sure. It's not specifying all the possible errors we can get. but I need to rethink how I do errors anyways. I'm probably going to use error codes, custom error codes within the response body of an error. Does your code for talking in Discord in the AI works like it knows when you stop talking and then to start working with the speech to text and text to speech, or does it wait some seconds and then starts? There is a timeout delay. Yes, it uses a timeout from when the user stops speaking to fire off a speech to text job, and then it waits a little bit longer before firing a response job, right? I think that's pretty normal for all use cases, really. You could have a AI model, kind of like in the same style of voice audio detection. You could have one that also determines if the user has stopped speaking or not. But in my opinion, that's kind of overkill, and there isn't any, I haven't seen any models, or I haven't at least searched for any models that does this, because I found that the timeout method works just fine, honestly. What are you making for Vita today? I am just refactoring the API from Quartz to Fast API for the open source version. Right now, I'm pretty much just finishing up for today. Yeah, there's still a lot of errors inside of the code that I need to refactor and fix. But right now, this seems to be working just fine. This part is fine. Again, errors, I'm gonna change how that works so it's a little bit more useful than what it is right now. Include audio, like all of these are just fine, right? Clear context, there's nothing for that. This one has an example with name translation, additional prop 1 with a string, da 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 da. We have character names to a string. All of this stuff is fine. Yep. And this gives back a job ID, which is correct. Request add, context, job ID. Yes, that's fine. Conversation text, user, timestamp, context. This all looks fine, honestly. I don't think I'm gonna check through the rest of these. I mean, we're almost there anyways, might as well. String description, but default is empty, that's fine. That's fine. Custom context, add, yes, and delete the context, that's fine. All of these, yep, okay. The API looks fine. Fast API has been integrated. I'm gonna keep Flask inside of the dependencies for now, because it might come in useful if I want to add it as a front-end option directly for this. I don't know though. I need to figure out what I want to do for that really. But yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna leave it off for today. I need to head off and do some other work now. But we will be streaming next week as well. Not at the usual days. I think I might do a stream on Tuesday, or I might skip all the streams up until Friday, because there is a lot of work that I need to get done within the next week. So I'm not sure if I'll have much time to actually stream next week. But yeah, that's to be decided. Actually, no. I'm not going to stream on Tuesday. I'm just going to skip all the streams up until Friday. But yeah, anyways, until then, enjoy the rest of your days. I'm gonna head off now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.